Good morning, guys. Thank you for your patience. So obviously we're in full pads. Well, we've been in pads. I mean, it's a little bit of a formality when they say it's first day in full pads. It's not entirely accurate. I mean, what we're doing now, we've been doing for days. But overall, from an effort standpoint and a physicality standpoint, we did take a step forward today. We were a little bit sloppy down the stretch and then regained our focus and finished practice strong. But all in all, what we're seeing is, the reps are paying off. We need to push these guys. We have to practice in pads. We have to be physical. We have to scrimmage. We certainly don't ever want to get anybody hurt, but football is what it is. It's all about blocking and tackling, throwing and catching and executing at a high level and doing it with discipline and doing it with high levels of technique and fundamentals. So progress, nowhere near where we need to be, but certainly just getting ready for our meetings and getting better. Nice, boring conference for you guys,
Jacobe Thomas said, I was talking to the media day, and he said that when you were recruiting him, the first thing you talked to him about was basically all the areas he has to improve.
Absolutely.
I guess, what goes into, how does that work as a recruiting strategy? First of all, telling a guy first, all the spots he needs to get better at, and then second, just how have you seen Jacobe work, since he's been here?
Well, we're brutally honest in a constructive way when we're recruiting guys, because if you don't have that foundation, it's not going to work anyways. And he's a guy that he really wanted to improve his game, and he wanted to be on a team that was headed in the right direction, and also where there was an opportunity. So it all fit, but we wanted to provide an opportunity for a guy to really improve himself and increase his value while helping us and being a team-first guy. And we felt he had all those things. I'm hard on him because he's such a physical presence, and he's really smart. And he's really hard on himself. He can take hard coaching, but there's no question about the fact that he's going to help us win football games and really improve our defense. And he's got a really, really bright future.
With receivers, the one guy that's standing out, at least when we're able to hear Josh Moore, just what's from the time he got here in January to where he's now, where's the growth that you've seen in him, and what type of role could he potentially fit in?
I think every day we challenge these guys to be more mature. And when I say mature, it's not just age, it's processes. It's getting here earlier. It's getting your activation done so your body could work better while you're practicing. It's coming in earlier for meetings and getting extra film time and walkthrough and catching some jugs or extra jugs, and then staying late to make sure that your mental game is on point. And then, thank you very much, and then making sure he's repping against the frontline guys so he's getting true physical knockback, line of scrimmage, press man coverage, off man coverage, having to go in there and dig out safeties and be involved in the perimeter blocking game as well as catching the football. And Josh is a guy with a lot of pride and a lot of ability. He's 215 pounds, probably on his way to 220, more than 215. He's an awesome young man, awesome family. Man, I don't know if I've answered your question, but we love pushing him. His progress is very real. His ability is off the charts, and it's our job to make sure that he impacts his football team sooner than later.
Mario, can you put into, with the transfer portal, there it comes in all shapes and sizes. You
Sure.
got smaller school, productive guys trying to step up. You could have a bigger school, not as. You and your staff, can you put into words how you guys identify how they'll fit here? Because you get all kinds of options.
That's a good question. I mean, we want to see we want to see reps on tape. We treat it a lot like we treat high school tape. For us to take a transfer portal guy that hasn't played, we have to have tremendous conviction that it didn't go right for him for another reason besides the player himself. Because like you mentioned, Marty Brown is out there at North Dakota State rushing for 1,000 yards, put the ball on the ground one time, running power, counter, ISO, wham, slam, you name it. He's done it all at supposedly a lower level. There's nothing lower level about that school and the way that they're coached. He's got the right DNA. You see his build. He comes in as a very mature physical and mental guy, and he's a great example, as is KB, Kamal Bonner. You watch him, and even though he redshirted, you saw him get some play and then eventually take over the starting role. Watch his reps, the physicality he plays with, the scheme he's in, the culture he's in. It fits what we're looking for. And when you find guys like that they have years, they've already put a high level of production on tape, that's not much different than recruiting a high-level high school guy, in our opinion. And then, as you mentioned, there's different guys in different stages. Some 1 year left coming in December, January. Then other guys when you're left showing up in May, June, right? That's where it gets a little bit dicey, and you have to have a lot of conviction as a staff that the guys you're taking late are not going to be strictly independent contractors, and guys are going to buy into the principles and values of your team and be a team first guy. So it's a lot, huh? Good? Thanks, man.
Coach, how do you see the DB room elevating the standard of defense here for this year?
Yeah, I see a lot of competition back there. It's very different. We're longer, we're more physical. I would say our ability to play multiple coverages has increased significantly. The level of intellect, football IQ is certainly, that has elevated a bunch, both by the type of player we brought in and also by, I would say, the coaching regimen of Coach Heatherman, Coach Etheridge, Coach Will Harris, Coach Terry Jefferson, all those guys. They're very demanding. They're very, God, how do you say this? They make guys versatile. You see guys playing different positions so they can learn it conceptually, and then they keep the competition thick. There's no, every day you got to find your way and work your way above the line. You're not going to be guaranteed that. And I think our guys are starting to understand that we just can't do it with frontline players. We have to do it as a unit. We have to do it in numbers. We've got to be able to come in waves, and guys are getting opportunities. So I think those things make that a reality.
Mario, just from when you guys from the start packs, obviously you're in spiders at the beginning, but once you move into shells and full pads, how much are you able to start truly gauging what you have, where guys are once the pads do come on? Just how much does just that transition, when that transition happens, where you're able to start gauging where things are?
One thing that's interesting, we like to see a certain install, a certain scheme at least twice. These are high-level athletes, and rep one might not be exactly what you want it to look like, but they can adapt, and they can almost auto-correct, plus the amount of time you spend walking through and teaching, you're going to get some better play too. So by the second time around, when it's live action, you should feel better about it, right? Or not so good about it, but it gives you a better indication. And then as you head into scrimmage one on Sunday, when you're out there, when you're playing football, you're just calling it and playing. You're not trying to make it too complex. You want to see guys being able to react, communicate, get to the football, make plays, secure the football, play technically and fundamentally sound football at a high level and with tremendous effort. That's what we're looking for, So, but again, it's all about what the coaches set up. I mean, the best thing we could do for this team is to conduct elite practices day in and day out. Really simulate the game, the actual game itself, as much as we possibly can. I'm talking to the exact detail on an indie drill, a 5-on-4, a 2-on-2, a 1-on-1, whatever that may be, because that gives us our best chance to, number one, prepare them, and two, help them get better and give us a great assessment.
Last question. Go ahead, Chris.
Kicking situation. Just how's that been going? How are they doing?
It's tight. Yeah, it's tight. Strong legs. Experience, obviously our snapper and holder, we think really highly of those guys. So they've been instrumental in helping these guys get better at kicking. And today we also kicked off, which is a huge part of winning the job as well, right? Who could kick it, out the end zone if possible on every opportunity. But it's tight, and we're going to put them in every pressure situation every day as best we can, and we'll figure it out before game one.
In your career, have you ever had a short field goal guy, long field goal guy? Have you ever dealt that? Some coaches have done that before.
Have not had that. So been and seen some unbelievable kicking battles over the years. Starting with the old roommate Carlos Huerta back in the day, right? So, but it's look. One thing I can say about that room, and as you look at our team, probably the best part of our development has been the fact that competition is it's taught. It's people use the word embrace. I don't want to say embrace. It's welcomed here. It's really pushed, and it's a necessity. And our guys see it as a necessity. They now realize that we're not going to get as good as we can be unless we're pushed. And we have an agreement. They're going to allow me, and they're going to allow the staff. They're going to allow each other to push them as hard as they possibly could get pushed to get better.
Great. Thank you.
Okay, guys. Thank you very much.